everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So we discussed about that what PyTest actually is, right? We had seen in a detail regarding the PyTest. So now it's the turn for dealing with the other things now. So now let's start and learn about that what are the features of the PyTest. Okay. So for that I had to put up a heading. So let me quickly put up the heading for today, and first of all we're going to discuss about the features, right? So here goes the heading, which is features of PyTest. Okay, so that same thing we are gonna discuss it up right here. Let me start with the point number one. So the features of very first feature of the PyTest is that it does not require. So it does not require. It does not require API to use. It does not require API to use. So this is the very first feature of the PyTest, that it does not requires the API to use. Okay, great. Moving towards the second point, the point number two is that it can be used. Point number two is that it can be used to run doc tests and unit tests. Okay, so second one is that it can be used to run doc test and the unit test. So this is the point number two in regards of the features of PyTest. Moving towards the point number three. Point number three is that gives useful failure information. Gives useful failure information. Let me get down 1 second. It gives the useful failure information without use of debuggers. Buggers. Fine. So it gives up the useful failure information without. Okay, here I won't be coming. So without the use of the debuggers. The point number and the feature number 3. Moving towards the fourth number, we are having that it can be written as a function. It can be written as a function or method. Okay, so yes, point number 4 goes that it can be written as a function or a method. And point number 5 is that it has useful plugins. Okay, so point number 5 is that it has useful plugins. So these are the 5 features which we have up here for the PyTest. Let me take you towards them once again. So the very first feature is that it does not require the API to be used. Okay, so there is no such need for using up the API here for using up the PyTest. Second is that it can be used to run up the doc test and the unit test. So doc test is one type of test and the unit test is another. So both sort of tests can be run using the PyTest. Third is that it gives you the useful failure information without use of the debuggers. So without any use of the debuggers, it gives you out the complete failure information, that why your test is actually failing up. Okay. Next, it can be written as a function or a method. So PyTest can either be written as a function or a method. And point number 5, that it has very useful plugins. So these were the 5 features of the PyTest which I already told you right here. Next we'll move towards the advantages of PyTest. So here goes advantages of PyTest. Okay, now let's understand and let's learn about the advantages of the PyTest. That what are those advantages for the PyTest? Okay, so the point number 1 is that it is open source. So it is open source. So the point number 1, the first advantage for the PyTest is that it is open source, right? So open source means that it's easily available onto the website, it's easily available onto the Google. You could simply go ahead and download that out. It's completely free. It's not gonna ask you about some money in that case. Okay. So hope you got out the idea about the open source. So it is open source. Next is that it can skip test, it can skip tests and automatically one second, and detect automatically detect the test. So it can skip up the test and even it can automatically detect up the test, right? So skipping of the test and automatically detecting of the test, both of the things can be actually done by the PyTest. Fine. Next here is that tests are run parallel. Now here means that the test can as well be run in the parallel manner. So test could actually run up here into the parallel way. It means that at one time two tests can as well be run this out in the parallel manner. So yes, it allows running of the test in the parallel manner as well. Okay. Next, moving towards the point number 4, we have that specific test and subsets of specific tests and subsets of tests can be run from the program. So here goes the program. Fine. So the specific test and the subsets of the test can be run from the program. So what are the program you have written out? So from there you could run up the specific test, or you could even run up the subset of the test. So both of these things are allowed into the PyTest. Fine. Moving towards the point number 5. So point number 5 here is that it is easy to start. It is easy to start as it has it has a very easy syntax. Very easy syntax. So it is easy to start, like PyTest is very much easy to start. Why? Because the reason is that the syntax which you have up in the PyTest now, that's very easy. Okay, so that's the reason that it is easy to start with the PyTest. So right here we discussed about the advantages and the features of the PyTest. Let's go ahead once again and revise all of those respective things right here. Fine. So first one, the feature for the PyTest is that it does not require up any of the APIs to use. Right. Next is that it can be used to run up the doc test and even the unit test. So any of the tests can be run up using the PyTest. Third is that it gives up the useful failure information without the use of the debugger. So without the debuggers, you could even it gives you the very useful failure information. Right? Next is that it can be written as a function or a method. So you could write them as a function or as a method, and it has a useful plugins. So these were the features. Now if I move towards the advantages of PyTest, the first, it is the open source, right? Second one is that it can skip up the test and automatically detect up the test. So yes, the test can be skipped and automatically the test could be actually detected. Fine. Next is that you could run up the test right here into the parallel form as well. That at one time you could run parallel test here. Specific tests and subsets of tests can be run from the program. So you could run up the specific test or the subset of test from the program. And next is that it is easy to start as it has a very easy syntax. Syntax is very easy. That is why it is very much easier as well to start with the PyTest. Right, so hope I am very much clear with all of these features and advantages which I did mention up here for the PyTest. Right, so hope I'm very much clear with this thing. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.